What is your job and how long have you been doing it for?
I'm an incoming business analyst at McKinsey, and I've been doing it for 2 summers.
Did you come from a target or non-target school?
I came from non-target, Baruch College.
And what do you think was the key to being able to land a job at McKinsey, considering how competitive it is coming from a non-target school?
I think mainly it's about preparation and networking. So I think networking in terms of finding good, strong relationships that you can grow with other people who are in the industry, and also learning about case prepping and kind of doing as much as you can with people who are also trying to do the same.
In your experience, what has been the biggest difference recruiting out of Baruch versus, let's say, if you were recruiting from a target school?
The amount of first rounds you'll be able to get. I think I've sent out so many emails and so many applications, but my return rate might be way less than someone who comes from a target school.
So what can students do to make sure they increase their return rate?
I think networking is probably the first thing to get your foot in the door. I think even for consulting, case prepping will get your foot in the door, and then after that, you have to be well with behaviorals, right? Everybody's gonna know about casing, but behaviorals gonna get you all the way.
Sure, hundreds of thousands of people apply to McKinsey and a bunch of these other consulting firms. What separates a good from a great candidate in those interviews?
Be super well-rounded, I think. Have everything prepared ahead of time, being able to know what casing is, being able to know people in the firm, having recommendations from them as well could be super helpful coming from a non-target background.
What exactly did you have to have prepared and ready to go? How did you make sure that you stood out?
Yeah, I was part of a club at Baruch called 55 Capital, and I started as an equity analyst, completely outside of consulting. And through that, I met a bunch of people who were in consulting, and I was able to learn things outside of consulting as well, which I think is what helped me during my interviews.
Could you talk a little bit about how you actually prepared for your case interviews? What did you do? What resources did you take advantage of?
Yeah, so the biggest thing I say for case prepping is casing with others, case with them on a specific real world problem could be really interesting, right? There's no real solution to it yet. You gotta really think about it. And if you both put your heads together, you learn more about each other's perspectives.
What are some traits that make up a good consultant?
Communication is the biggest thing. They even taught us for the first couple of weeks, effectively communicating. Really helpful for when you're communicating to clients, communicating to people internally, and saving a bunch of people time.
And final question for you. What is the best piece of career advice that you've ever received?
Be open-minded, I think. Don't be too tunnel vision on one thing in general.